GLP-1 controversy, how Serena Williams is reshaping the GLP-1 conversation and why that matters to your Zepbound weight loss. Hi, beautiful friends. I'm Elizabeth, Countess of Shopping. I've lost over 112 pounds from taking GLP-1 medications, specifically Mounjaro, Zepbound, and Tirzepatide compound. The last 2.5 years, the combination of those is because of the shortages. And on today's episode, I want to deep dive into, if you've not heard the news, superstar, one of the best athletes of our generation, Serena Williams, admitted to taking GLP-1 medication. And why does this even matter for your own Zepbound weight loss or Wegovy weight loss? So let's deep dive in. Serena Williams announced yesterday on August 21st that she was taking GLP-1 medication and that she's partnered with Ro, a telehealth company, about taking GLP-1 medication. So there's some pros for this and some cons. We're going to have a conversation about why does this even really matter for you. But the first one is that I want you to think about is, in general, whether you choose to believe it or not, GLP-1s have a stigma associated with it. From somebody who has been on the front lines here talking about from the very beginning, 2.5 years ago, about my GLP-1 weight loss, the amount of people who are still very ignorant that GLP-1s are a shortcut and the easy way out and don't understand a lot about GLP-1s. This conversation about Serena Williams, a massive tennis player superstar, I love her so much, taking GLP-1 medication is destigmatizing the GLP-1 culture. That this athlete, who is an athlete who works out 5 hours a week, who has a nutritionist and someone who helps her with her food, like the epitome of wealth, success, all of these things, but is a professional athlete, to my knowledge, the first known professional athlete to come out that she is actively taking a GLP-1 medication. It helps to destigmatize the conversation around GLP-1s. That GLP-1 people are not just lazy. You would never put Serena Williams and lazy in the same conversation at all. That she is a renowned athlete, powerhouse, a winner, and that it's not a shortcut at all, and it's not for lazy people at all, just by her peak physical performance of being a professional athlete. I mean, training 5 hours a day. I think that is fascinating to me, that it's destigmatizing our culture. But the second part is that it requires medical intervention, and it meaning weight management. For me, I am on for obesity management, but we know with GLP-1s now, it's not just about obesity management. So this is part of our GLP-1 culture catching up of, if you're OG like me, starting 2.5 years ago, it was for people, type 2 diabetics, and for obesity management. And now GLP-1s are so much more than that, for sleep apnea, heart disease. There's so many tests that are happening for liver and kidney, and a ton, heart, like strokes, a ton of stuff coming out, even testing for Parkinson's and Alzheimer's, dementia, a ton of stuff. So it's not just for weight management and type 2 diabetics anymore, but for her, it was talking about sometimes people's person's biology requires medical intervention to reach a healthy weight. And Serena, when I was watching her Today Show interview, I found it fascinating about how she was trying. Clearly, it was not a lack of effort on her part, but it's normalizing postpartum health struggles. And that's one thing that I see of moms, that they're being one, that I had my son almost 10 years ago, and losing that baby weight. Serena Williams so eloquently talked about that too, of like having kids, like she would very much normalize a very often unspoken challenge for mothers, which is the difficulty of losing weight after pregnancy. And by sharing her body wouldn't just respond, and that's what she said, quote, wouldn't just respond with her previous methods of diet and exercise before she had her baby and being postpartum. So she's validating the experience of countless women. And I know we've got a lot of gentlemen watching too, so don't worry, I've got you included in this conversation, of course. But countless women who face many of these struggles of having a baby, and it's like, oh, the tricks that I worked before having a baby just don't work anymore for diet and exercise. Next, promoting the tool for GLP-1 is not just for vanity. Again, destigmatizing the culture for all of us in the GLP-1 pool, that Serena Williams talking about this, whether it's the connotative association or not, is that GLP-1s are for overall health and not vanity. Like, she is a professional athlete. And so by taking this, it's not for her, to be dropped down to a size 2 or whatever, but it's also for her. She's speaking about how it's helping with increase her energy, but also reducing her joint pain as well. And that's one of the things of overall with GLP-1 medication of the inflammation component very much changes. And for me, it changes. I was sharing last night, if you're in my free encouragement group, I'll link it down in the description link below, countessofshopping.com/group. It's the first place I shared about it. I'm literally living my dream. And it's because of that inflammation component, I'm able to ride horses. This is my Clydesdale horse. I don't own her. I ride her though. Her name's Maggie, and she's a Clydesdale, and I'm almost 6 feet tall and weighing, when I started my GLP-1 journey, weighing over 300 pounds. I could not ride horses anymore because I would hurt them, even for a Clydesdale like Maggie. And so losing that weight and that inflammation to be able to do what I'm doing, like just being able to hold the reins literally with my hands, that has been because of GLP-1 weight loss, that the inflammation got really, really bad near the end of weighing. And here's my before picture, one of them, weighing over 300 pounds. Where's the, no, sorry, there's one that I want, that specific one. Like that hurt, my joints hurt, the before picture on the right there, that hurt a lot, a lot. And so I want to encourage you and motivate you of the reframe with this of Serena Williams and why this is helping all of us is that increased energy and joint pain, it's not just for cosmetic solutions, which it's okay if it partially is. For me, it partially is. I literally lived after graduating college, so in my mid 20s all the way into my early 40s, I just feel like I didn't exist visually being so overweight and yo-yoing up and down, up and down, up and down. And so there is a cosmetic part of it. But for me, the reframe has been so much for my health and wellness, and that has been a really, really awesome component of this. I mean, literally talking to Oprah and being on her show over a year ago on the Shame, Blame, Weight Loss Revolution, my segment got cut on that. So I was in the after show talking with her in the last 5 minutes of the after show, if you're able to see that on Hulu, but my pictures in the main show were used, but my segment actually was cut. So in that, having the conversation, it's okay if part of this is for cosmetic. And I know for some people, whether they rather say it or not, it is partially cosmetic. But having this component of the health, energy, and preventing diseases for me, that's one of the biggest things that I'm really, really pumped about is the disease prevention of why I knew having obesity was going to lead to an early grave. I knew that, and a gnarly one at that, because it's a slow, painful death of having that, and the cancer association with it, and the heart disease associated, and all of the ways you pass a very slow, painful way from obesity. And so I love this about how Serena is talking about how she's talking about the increased energy and joint pain. So providing a credible, non-celebrity centric perspective, while many celebrities have been rumored to be on GLP-1 medication, I love that Serena Williams is coming out and saying it now. We're going to talk about why that may not be such a great thing, because she's clearly getting paid with Roe to talk about this, which we'll talk about in the not so great parts of this, but her status is legitimate. You or I can't take away from her. She is a highly trained, award-winning athlete. She has won all of these things, and that she's cutting through the noise with her credibility. And that to me is very, very exciting. In terms of her as an athlete, she's not just an athlete, but she's a Hollywood elite. And the respect level that goes with her name and association with that is helping all of us in the GLP-1 pool. Next, I love that Serena in her interview is encouraging to focus in on health over appearance. So I just talked about a little bit about the vanity component that most people think that people on GLP-1s were. I know for sure I had comments of people either under their breath or directly to my face. And I'm like, say it to my face, babes. I double dog dare you say it to my face. And let's have that conversation. And some people did, and they got some things back to that. But most people have been very encouraging. Most people have been very, very encouraging. But I think that the point in which I'm trying to make, that came off weird, the point in which I'm really trying to make is that she's talking about health and wellness. And that's true for us. There was a study done, and I'm going to do a whole separate show, so make sure you click like and subscribe down there, talking about our biological age by taking GLP-1 medication. It was just semaglutide, not even Tirzepatide like Mounjaro or Zepbound that have higher results, but just semaglutide with Wegovy, Ozempic, and semaglutide. For 2 weeks, it's 8 months, that you click back it's the biological age on average clicks back 3 years. I said I have questions for that. Tell me about the Tirzepatide one because it's probably more than that. And if you're on longer than the 8 months, 32 weeks, what is it then? And so that, like, this is where it talks about health, like taking back the hands of time in terms of the health component for our bodies to live longer, which I'm also going to be doing a whole separate show on, which I'm really excited about. The financial, how our retirements are all going to have to change. And if you've not thought about that component, the financial component, I have, as a businesswoman who started from scratch, 3 multi-million-dollar companies. They're not franchises from like scratch. Financial component of being on GLP-1s and living longer is definitely something I've thought about and have an action plan for, which we'll talk about in another video. But that focus in on health, of how we are literally changing our healthy functions. I don't know about you, but for me, my blood panels, just that alone, my blood sugars, having these amazing blood panels coming back, I'm like, who this? Who this beautiful woman? This beautiful woman with this beautiful blood panel on there. It's me. Like that is, it's so exciting and so motivating to literally see exact data. But it's a powerful message that Serena Williams is sending in terms of, especially to young people, about health. Now, here's some of there's always going to be chirpers, chirp, 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 of why this may not be bad, but some people have been chirping about why there's criticism to this is the commercial partnership that Serena did in her sponsorship with Roe. You know, she was making bank with that partnership. I'm dying to know how much the figure is. I feel like it's eventually going to come out. But critics argue that it's not purely altruistic act of sharing her story, but she's getting paid, honey. And to be fair, she should. As a businesswoman, I'm like, and you should. Like, if you're out, like, and you should, like, good for you. I know a lot of people don't agree with that. I'm a businesswoman at heart. And so anyways, chirpers are going to chirp. In addition, some other criticisms are that she is oversimplifying GLP-1 medication and promoting quick fixes. I don't think she is, though. Some people, the chirpers, are saying that. I don't think she's promoting quick fixes. She's focusing on health. She's focusing on lifestyle. And clearly her lifestyle was indicative to being a healthy lifestyle, exercising and training 5 hours a day. You know, she's got a nutritionist and a dietitian, I'm sure, like multiple facets to be the optimum elite, best of the best in the world and physical athlete. I find that interesting. It's not a shortcut. And it could lead to, there's the criticisms are, it could lead to unrealistic expectations or improper use of the medication. But also on the side note, that could be said for a lot of different things too. So some naysayers are saying contributes to the high demand and shortage issues. The Ozempic craze has already led to these. And so that this is going to make more of the Ozempic craze and Serena's a celebrity stature promoting the GLP-1s, making it harder for those with chronic conditions to be able to get their prescriptions. I think we're past that. So my counter to that is I think we're past the shortages. Sound off in the comments below if you're having issues getting your medication. I take Zepbound and I have not had an issue. It's been fabulous. But in my free encouragement group, we do talk about this, about even as a couple of months ago, some people were still having issues getting their prescriptions. I think the bigger pain point is insurance coverage, of having insurance companies take away the ability to get these prescriptions through insurance coverage, but contributing to the Ozempic craze of having, like, lending her stature into it, it's going to lead to a demand issue. We'll see. We'll see if I'm right on that. I don't think so, but we'll see. And then for some people, focusing on Serena Williams's weight loss, because she lost 31 pounds. I don't know the time frame in which I'm trying to remember from my research for the story that I'm doing today of how long that took her to lose the 31 pounds, but she lost 31 pounds. Making the focuses even for health can be triggering to some, highly praising her for her weight loss, and that praise for weight loss may, instead of versus more health focus. But here's what, this part of that is the day and age in which we live in. Like, we have to keep some things real. Like, that is our culture in which we live in. It is. I don't wish it to be, but just because I don't wish something, I don't wish for rainy days, but that doesn't mean that rainy days don't exist, for example. I want it to be bright and sunny and like 65 to 70 degrees every day. And just because I wish it to be so doesn't mean that it's going to be. And so I wish it to be so that weight is not a factor in our culture, but that's not the truth. It is. And so it's triggering to some, her talking about this 31-pound weight loss, but for me, I view it as, you go, girl. Like, you are amazing. She is fabulous, and it motivates me. But that's the lens in which I look from life from, of I'm not going to pick things. Like, I'm going to be like, oh, woohoo, like, that's awesome. And there's potentially misinformation on the drugs. While Williams says she did her research, a public figure speaking about complex medical treatments can sometimes lead to a spread of oversimplification or inaccurate information. Viewers may not have the same access to that high level of medical care and supervision that she does. But that's why she has Roe as her sponsor, the medical one. By the way, I use Join Fridays, use the discount code QUEEN. If you are looking for a telehealth provider, I have worked with Join Fridays since October 2023, to give context. So we're rounding almost 2 full years of working with them from the beginning. They're one of the OGs. Viewers may not have access to the same high level of medical care, and that having that may lead to believe that GLP-1s are appropriate for everyone without proper guidance or diagnosis for medical guidance. So I think it's a great conversation to be having. And the fact that such a prominent figure came out, it's interesting, by the way. So if you look at from a PR standpoint, August is notoriously slow. Notorious, da, 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 notorious, da, 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 da. Main news stories, and some of them are being held until September in terms of the news cycle. News will be like lots and lots of news coming in September, because a lot of people are still on vacation away. Like, August is still very much a vacation month. So the fact that this came out now is interesting because it is the lead story. And so capturing that before the news gets very, very busy here in September, when people are back from vacation, back to business as usual, I think that the timing in which the story came out is awesome. So she gets her moment, she gets her spotlight with it. And as a mom and as an athlete, to me, it was very, for me personally, I'll use my I statements, very validating to see the level in which she is as a professional athlete. Like, this is not a low tier athlete. This is like the ultimate, she is one of the athletes of our time. To come out saying she's taking GLP-1 medication is like, yes. And it's not this speculation of, you know how you spec like some of the celebrities, and that's their right. I also get their culture and being a celebrity of not sharing that they're on GLP-1 medication. That's their right not to share their medical stuff. Like, I also understand that too, but I appreciate the openness and candor in which she's sharing it, of like, yeah, I did. And postpartum was hard, and doing diet and exercise, it wasn't that I wasn't doing those things, because I was. And for me, I think, well, Serena Williams, who trained for 5 hours a day, was still having these issues with her weight, then of course I am going to as well. Excuse me. And that has been super validating, like like in the last, it hasn't even been 24 hours, I don't think, since the news cycle came out on this, at the time I'm filming this. It's very validating of like, yes, this is for a disease. Obesity is for a disease. And for Serena, weight management, more so that conversation component of it, of how helpful it is. Now, the one part that I don't think is getting touched on, that's not, that I really do want to touch on, for me, because I get asked all the time, and I feel like I want to shout from the bell tops. For me, we know that 70% of people gain back the weight once they stop taking the medication. So that means only 30% of people keep the weight off after they lose it. I would question in 2 years, 3 years from that, if they still have the weight off from it, if it's not a yo-yo. For me, my husband and I talk about it all the time. In 2.5 years, I literally would have been on 10,000 different diets at that point. And many of you know me formerly as the Countess of Low Carb, back when I lost a ton of weight, over 80 pounds with keto, and I gained it all back in the pandemic. It was humiliating and embarrassing, and I literally wanted and still want to leap out of my skin from that time period, because I felt such guilt shame combination about it, from gaining that after having talked so much about like all of that. And so staying on this medication, I more than likely will be on this medication for the rest of my life, because doing things like last night being at adult horse camp, which I cannot wait to go back later on tonight and ride Maggie. I'm going to go on a big trail ride through the Appalachian Mountains. I am so excited, because of my weight loss and keeping it off, right? Like, I just announced that I lost 112 pounds, which is amazing. 2.5 years into this, I'm still losing some weight. I am a turtle, fellow turtles unite. If you are a turtle as well, like, slow and steady wins the race. I do believe part of that, a huge part of that, is because of my dietitian has been very much, my free dietitian through Join Fridays, by the way. It is through Join Fridays. I've been working with this GLP-1 specialized dietitian. You guys keep asking me. I'm like, it's through Join Fridays. But doing this whole new lifting workout regimen, which by the way, riding the horses, I was supposed to lift yesterday and I didn't. And I'm glad I didn't because I am so sore today from riding horses. My whole body is like so sore. So I'm taking a pause just for while I'm at horse camp from lifting because it hurts too much. Um, the point at which I'm trying to get to is I'll be on this medication for the rest of my life with the information I have right now. And that I want to make sure with sharing the Serena Williams story that I would love to follow up with in 5 years is, will she still be on the medication or some form of maintenance? Because I do think that that's part of this conversation that is very much lacking, that I want to be one of the leaders in, and I hopefully feel like I am, of continuation on this medication. Now, part of that, and my heart rips, please know, because I am an empathetic and a sympathetic person for people with insurance companies taking away the ability to get access to medication. Guts me. Trust and believe, like when people are like, oh, I have to switch from Zepbound to Wegovy, my heart, please know, passes from my heart to yours. I'm like, oh, I know, because I know how, knowing coming from an obese background, a morbid obese background, how well this has worked for me. It's the only thing that has worked because of this. And so continuing on the medication with the manner in which I'm on right now and having those changes with it that are not your choice with insurance, changing that, and financials changes too. I fully recognize the privilege, and I say this because it's true, but also because I need to recognize it to paint the full picture of paying $16,000 out of pocket the last 2.5 years is unrealistic for most people. And I fully recognize the privilege in which in saying that. Trust and believe that I'm not like Delulu, like I 100% understand. We restructured and I also have to say this too, we restructured our finances very much so when I started 2.5 years ago. That was a whole conversation of how are we going to keep this train going, from now, because I have no intentions of getting off of it. And my insurance has not covered it. So I share that component too of like, it sucks. Like one thing also sidebar, you guys know it sometimes squirrel moment, but with Join Fridays, for new patients, you can't get brand name like Wegovy or Zepbound unless you're an existing patient. So having GLP-1 GIP or GLP-1 medication, if you're new and wanting to switch to them, use the discount code QUEEN. But that is just to give context on that. So, because some people get confused, like, I can't get a brand name. How are you? It's because I'm an existing patient. But once you're an existing patient, you can. Okay, going back over to the topic at hand. The energy component in which Serena Williams talks about, I very much feel the same way. I would not be on QVC HSN. I'm on HSN, but they merged together, so it's the same name now. I would not be on HSN, and I won't be at the end of September. We'll be having a meet and greet in Pennsylvania when I'm there for my HSN shows. I would not be on air without this medication because of the energy component. Certainly is there, I'm sure, because I look cuter to be on TV. I recognize that, probably. Like just the day and age we live in and the culture in which we live in. But more importantly, it's the energy in which to do that. To have shows at midnight and getting off air at 1 a.m. and doing that, of what that requires from my body. Many of you who are like, not many of you, friends who know us, like my husband and I, like personally off air, are like, how does Elizabeth do it? My husband always is very honest. He's like, Elizabeth goes to the bed. Like after these major shows, it is an energy exchange. I will literally lay in my bed for 24 hours. I'll get up to go eat, but I'm in my pajamas. I don't put makeup on. I really don't leave my house. My husband takes over responsibilities with our son. Like my kid, like it is an energy exchange. But I wouldn't even be able to do that if it wasn't for GLP-1 medication. And so the point in which Serena Williams, making it back around the bend here, the point in which I'm trying to say is the energy component, to even have the energy and the stamina to do that, I could not do that before. No way. No way. The only reason why I'm able to do that is because of GLP-1 medication. My hope and prayer for myself, though, is as I continue to weight train and also get better cardiovascularly, I forget, was it Sue? Forgive me, this was you. One of you beautiful souls wrote a comment of how I was talking about weight training, because most people don't talk about weight training and the muscle mass loss with GLP-1 medication, of how do you do that? And if you don't know, go back and watch my videos, like 3 or 4 videos back in this playlist of how you do it, because there's an easy way that's free, like literally crack the code on that one, of how do you actually lift and talking about that. But one of you beautiful souls, I think it was Sue, was like, well, why aren't you talking about the cardiovascular component? And I thought I had been really vocal about that, of I walk so much, at least 7,000 steps per day, if not 10,000 steps. My dietitian wanted me to shift from 10,000 steps per day to at least 7,000. So I'm getting those cardiovascular heart moments, but I'm working on that muscle component. and how important, because y'all, it's literally my, is it on this? No, it's not on this picture. I got flapjack booty. I was looking at my cute out, like I've been posting pictures in our free encouragement group. If you're not in it, by the way, go join. Go, I mean, it's free. Hello, it's the best group. It's awesome. I posted a ton of pictures and I'll post a ton more of horseback riding camp for me. And for me in the group, talking about horseback riding camp is not horseback riding camp, but what is your horseback riding camp? You have a dream in your heart that you may have not done yet and you want to do, and that GLP-1 and the weight loss is going to help you do. What is that dream? Have you seen Pretty Woman, the movie, where he's like, what's your dream? You come to Hollywood, what's your dream? I want to know your dream. We're going to talk about that more and carrying on that conversation today in the group. And we'll talk about it, of course, here on YouTube. I want to know here on YouTube, what's your dream? But for me, my dream has been to be back on a horse. And so riding Maggie has been truly like, I've had this dream in my heart for decades to be on that horse. And what a gift and a privilege I fully recognize that is. And how grateful I am that my life has changed so much, and that if my dreams can come true, your dreams can come true too. And I don't know what your dreams are, but I know you have a dream in your heart, and I really want to encourage you today, go fight for it. What are you doing today to move you closer to your health goals? What is that? What does that look like for you? I'm not talking about some airy fairy pie in the sky, but literally today with tactilely, what does that look like for you? For me, I'm gonna go to horse camp today. I'm gonna eat nutritious food, and I'm gonna stay in a calorie deficit for what my dietitian has dictated I should be eating. I'm gonna drink my water, I'm gonna get good rest tonight, and I'm gonna rock and roll. And so that's for me. Those are my health goals that are going to continually me inch by inch by inch by inch closer and closer to where I want to be physically. Because I'm not even anywhere where I want to be yet. I am, and I can embrace where I am, and I'm so grateful, but there's still more I want to do. Literally, I want to go, some of you horse people know, but like Fox and Hound, I want to do that so badly. What is it? Third field. Third field, that's what it's called. I'll be third field, but I want to go. I want to wear, I don't know if it's a red blazer or not or whatever, but the attire for Fox and Hound, I want to do that so badly. So that's my next big goal. That physically I have to prepare for that. I'm not there yet. And so that's exciting to me. That's motivating to me. What is motivating to you? I love when you guys tell me, you're like, I want to play with my grandchildren. I want to be able to lift them up. For me also, I want to lift my suitcase up in the airline when I'm flying in the overhead bin without even asking anyone to help me or look around to see if there is help. I want to do it with it's not even a question. I just do it. I put in the overhead bin because I've got the muscle to be able to do that, right? Because of lifting and doing these cool things that are helping me train for real life. My knees crack like the dickens in here, which is part of the inflammation process that Serena Williams talked about. So we've gone around the world from London to the Bay. I wanted to make sure one of the things I dang sure had last night was my Bioptimizer Magnesium Breakthrough. This video is not sponsored by them at all. But man, oh man, I was so grateful I took it last night, A, for the sleep component, but B, for the muscle recovery with it. And also, you guys know, for Zepbound constipation. But many of you had said, Elizabeth, your code on Amazon, which is Countess, was not working. That is now fixed, just FYI. So if you want to buy Magnesium Breakthrough, use my link on Amazon down below, please. I very much appreciate that. Or if you want to buy it on Bioptimizer's website, use my link down below with the discount code QUEEN. There's bundle sets that are going on right now that are fire. You can save some coin if you are already like a ride or die with like Masszymes or Bioptimizer's Magnesium Breakthrough. You can save with Queen on their actual website with the link below and the bundle sets that they have. Okay, I love you guys so much. It's an exciting day today. What are you doing today to move you closer to your goals? Our emoji of the day today is going to be a horse. I do emojis of the day to get to know you better because I care, and it's my bat signal that you've made it this far in the video, and that means that you're a bestie. Hi, bestie. In addition, I will pray over you. If you don't believe in prayer, I will uplift you in positive thought, as all are welcome at the Countess of Shopping table. My sweet friends, be kind to yourself, be kind to others. I'm Countess of Shopping. Count my blessings because life is delicious. I love you. I'll see you tomorrow. Have a great day. Bye, guys.